Hello, and welcome, or should I say ho, 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 Christmas cousins. I'm announcer voice cousin Chad coming at ya.
And I'm cousin Seth.
Cousin Seth, I'm using my announcer voice because this is our 150th episode. Woo!
Yes, it is. Wow. And what impeccable timing. I'm doing this on my phone, so just to set it up to audio issues. I just got a message through Facebook Messenger, someone wanting to promote our podcast. One of those millions of people that reach out, like, we can promote it, we can do all this. That's so funny. It just popped up. But anyway,
that is funny, but how greedy would we get? We have 23 million average daily listeners, or 23.4.
Yeah.
How many more do we need, Seth? I think we're good where we are. Let's keep it how it is.
Right. No, I agree. There is a little too much sometimes.
Yeah. Just our closest 23 million Christmas cousins. I think that's fair. So, Seth, here is the exciting part. 150 episodes. I mean, you can't even fathom that right now, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because it's been a year. Well, a little more than a year and a month since we started this little adventure.
Yeah.
This gigantic adventure it turned into.
I really wonder how many podcasts so we started about 13 months ago or so. How many podcasts reached 150 episodes in 13 months, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed, but I don't know if that does anything for anybody.
Right. And you didn't even check. This could be our 23rd episode. I counted. You haven't checked, so you're relying on me to count properly.
Absolutely.
Well, Seth, can I just say for those people who are new to the show, maybe their first episode is our 150th. I'm Cousin Chad, and the genesis of the Christmas Cousins podcast was my dear cousin Seth, who, if you're watching, also we're on YouTube as well. He's the handsome guy in his car right now with the cool Wayfarers rocking, Mr. Rock and Roll.
Driving my own car, I might add.
I know. In his new Bentley, showing it off. So he was not celebrating any of the holidays, any of the seasons. He was just going about his day. Like October was the same as July. December could have been March. It didn't matter. And I found this out. I said, Cousin Seth. And he rebutted and said, Cousin Chad. I said, whoa, all right, touche. And I said, we've got to follow you, do a journey where I teach you my love of the holidays and the seasons. And maybe we can take you from your kind of grayish days of staring at the walls and yelling at the TV to blossoming into this happy day-to-day, happy-go-lucky guy. Maybe you'll find romance. Who knows? We joked about your life becoming like a Hallmark movie. As the season went on, you did find romance. I mean, it's life imitating art, Seth. It's crazy.
Yeah, we found this new romance. We find ourselves in this quaint little town in Michigan a couple of times. Yeah, it really is turning into this idyllic Hallmark kind of life. But
it's everything I predicted for you and hoped for you as your cousin. And we're very close. And I want you to be happy and live this fully fulfilled life. And also, I didn't want it just to have to be me to entertain you, Seth. So I'm really happy people are taking you off my shoulders.
It is. There's a lot of easing of the burden of carrying.
Yes. Thank you, Big Bubby, for you and crew out there, Mrs. X's crew out there for helping. So, Seth, but this isn't all about you. He's already made it all about himself 4 minutes in. We said, let's bring our favorite episodes and highlight them. And of course, none of us want anything about like actually going in and finding clips or editing it. So we have no clips. So we're going solely on Seth's recollection and mine. So we're going to go through Seth's top. I asked him to take his top 5. He came back with top 6 because he's an overachiever or he has trouble counting. And I'm going to do, Seth, my top 149 episodes. So it's going to be a long one. Yeah, I hope you don't mind.
I would love to hear that recap.
Oh yeah, it's a marathon episode, 36 hours long. So Seth, let's kick it off. Now, do you have any specific order of your top 6?
I guess yeah, they were a little bit, but I think they go in sequence of kind of how the show went. So
okay.
So one of the earlier ones was
hold on 1 second, Seth. We need breaking news, Seth. Okay. This is his 6th. Now, are these in order, like top 6 to favorite moment, or are these just your top 6?
Yeah, these are just my top 6. So
Okay.
it's a I
Gotcha.
might lose the timeline. But
Gotcha.
yeah, this
Okay.
first one was it was a thing we did, but
Uh-huh.
it was picture a perfect Christmas. It was kind
Yes.
of like my
Okay.
first official experience with a Hallmark movie, where I had to sit down, I had to take notes, I really had to study it for the the cinematic piece it is.
So before there, well, let's tell people, Seth, you do have a film degree from Columbia, and so you've studied film. You're an auteur, if you will. So I came to you and I said, Seth, what do you know about these Hallmark movies and Hallmark films, the Christmas ones that I love? And
Mm,
you really had never seen any, maybe snippets of some, or you were satirical about some, yelled at the TV and changed the channel. I said,
yeah.
give it a fair shake. You said you would. So I gave you the cinematic masterpiece, my personal Citizen Kane, Picture a Perfect Christmas. Everyone agrees it's one of the greatest movies ever, not just Christmas movies. And Seth, what was your feeling on that when that was your intro really to the Hallmark universe?
Yeah, so I didn't really know what to go into it looking for. I knew some of the things just because you and I had spoken, and you want to see the sets and the scenes, or there's a lot of Christmassy stuff, and you're getting those feelings and vibes, and I was. Yeah, there was a lot of chaos going on in my head, so I was trying to take everything in, but
Right.
yeah, I enjoyed it. So
Okay.
helped me.
And so wait, were you surprised that you enjoyed it?
Um, yeah. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, this is ridiculous, this is absurd. It's just like the dialogue was gonna be cheesy and stuff, and I was kind of like, all right, I need to get over myself. Like,
Right.
you understand what it is. It is what it is. I really like the 90-minute kind of time frame that they generally stick in. I'm like, that's perfect,
Yes.
my attention span. And they're
That's a
good.
good attention span. Most people have 8 seconds. You have 90 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
right.
good. Very impressive.
I didn't say what I'm doing in that time. I was just generally staring at a wall. I can't have any distractions.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, no, it was great. And then, yeah, I say hearing your thoughts and feelings on it, and then just kind of comparing it. So that was it was a lot of fun. And then we
Okay.
obviously went on to talk to other people about movies, and yeah,
And you
so
ended up, I think, looking forward to them, being like, I'm going to enshroud myself in this cozy 90 minutes. And maybe some of my enthusiasm for the movies wore off on you too, because you didn't have a choice. I was going to make them wear off on wear
yeah,
off on you.
right. To be excited about this or not. Um, yeah, it was. I didn't really see any ones with bad storylines. Nothing was too anxiety causing or inducing, and
Right.
yeah, so
And that's good for you. You need that.
absolutely. Even the worst ones of the ones we saw, or ones I saw, it weren't that terrible. I wasn't like,
Right.
maybe there was one I turned off, or I paused it and I never went back to it, but for the most part I stuck with them.
I don't think you ever told me that. I think you just made some breaking news right there and you bluffed your way through that episode, Seth. You guessed correctly that they got together at the end. So that was your intro to Hallmark, Seth. Then I love that. And we have a lot more coming up. The movies are starting in like 2.5 weeks or something like that, which is amazing. I cannot wait. October 18th. We will
Yeah.
discuss that every week. So, we're going to be previewing that weekend's movies. And then we're going to choose which one we're going to review the next week. So everybody wants to play along and watch it can do that. Now, Seth, I want to move on to your next one. I'm going to call this one out because this was cool. You really you were a bit of a recluse, if you will. You're muted? This is fantastic. 150 episodes in, he mutes himself. Oh, audience loves it. The audience, yeah, we can hear you now. Look at this guy.
This is why you don't do professional recordings with a phone.
Well, you were just stepped out of a big busy business meeting, so you're in your Bentley, you're rocking your Wayfarers. Like I said, check this guy out. He's got a Henley on, a shirt underneath. How is the temperature there? Just before we move on, is it warm? Is it cold?
It's beautiful. It's sunny and 68. It is.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice in
it is
Chicago.
perfect. So
Okay. Oh, I
yeah.
like that, Seth. Very nice. Okay. Hopefully it's going to get cold here in Foley. So you chose as your next one. You were a bit of a recluse, and you liked that this show got you to meet some really cool people that we became friendly with and got to know well and interview them. And
Yeah.
our very first interview of all was with someone who's become a fan favorite and a friend of ours as well. And that was Joe, the Christmas aficionado. Joe is here, Seth. Hey, this is your life, Seth.
Right.
Hello.
Think about it. He shows.
That's right.
Hello, sir.
I actually listen in on every recording you guys do. This, so I've heard all the things you said.
That's right. He's like Bobo. He just waits on the line until we want to bring him in on the show, basically.
I'm in quality control.
That's right. Well, welcome, Joe, to our 150th episode. You've been on 147 of them, so it's only appropriate. Yeah. I want to, for those of you who don't know, this is Joe, the Christmas aficionado. If you listen to the show, he's on all the time. You can find him on YouTube at the Christmas aficionado. But he is here because he was our very first interview. We reached out to his people. His people got back to us. We brought in together. He said yes. He took a chance on the Christmas cousins, and we all skyrocketed together. Joe, a rising tide floats all boats, as they say. So thank you and welcome once again. But I want to find out with Seth, why was this one of his top 6 episodes? You're one of his top 6, and his hall pass, as we revealed. As
right. Well, there's a lot of big ones. I mean, what we would come to later learn is that the discovery of my.
That's later, Seth. That's later. We're getting there. But Joe was involved with that.
Yeah, but it was nice. You had some work under your belt, so it was nice to kind of see what you were doing, and you've been in that world for a while. So it's like, oh, okay, this is the kind of people we're going to meet. So yeah, and like many things, the burden of the work and task at hand was put on Chad. So I just kind of could sit there and make a new friend while he has to do all the work. Like, this is awesome.
Well, that was about a year ago, because I believe it took place in September. So it's been over a year since we first did that initial meetup where you guys decided you wanted to hear what I had to say about what I do and my love of Christmas. And then I have listened back. I usually try not to listen back to things, but I did listen back a couple months ago just because I was curious. And man, I sound like a weirdo because of all the things that I did when I talk about recording on VHS and all that kind of stuff. But, it is what it is. That's who I am.
Yeah. Oh, so right. That was probably in our first 10 episodes for sure that we had you on.
It was very early on.
Yeah.
Because I recall your channel came up in my podcast feed for some reason, probably because of all the other Christmas ones. And the first one I listened to, I remember could barely hear you guys. Your audio was pretty bad, and I was like, oh. Okay, well, maybe they'll get better. But you guys had you guys had a good relationship in on the podcast, and I mean, obviously you're cousins, so that made a lot of sense. So I thought, okay, well, I'll check back on this, and then I think literally 2 weeks later, I think I got a message from Chad saying we'd love to have you on here. In fact, I could probably look it up real quick to see exactly what it said. But it was
funny. Dear sir, I was very formal back then. Dear sirs, I hope I haven't seen you in a fortnight on your episode. Hope all is well.
It was something like, I'm actually really curious because I'd love to see if you pumped me up and gave me all these wonderful moments where you said, oh, you're so wonderful, blah, 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 blah. Come in and join our podcast every week now. And drink something on the podcast that you've never had. And maybe you'll have a bad reaction. I don't know.
That's right. I think that was in between the lines. I don't think I explicitly stated that, but that was the understanding I gave. So, and Joe, I was thinking about what you said recently, because you're like, Chad likes to have people come on, try different things, maybe have adverse reactions to them, finds it funny, but he doesn't himself indulge in these things. So you task Seth with finding something that would make me sick. You said, reach out to my wife, who's his cousin-in-law. Let's check in with Seth and see how he's doing with reaching out with Leslie, because how he does with his homework. Seth, what has Leslie said when you reached out? Cousin wife Leslie.
I didn't have a lot of thoughts as far as like ways or foods or things. So the only thing I came up with was to stuff you like a goose, or pate and try to extract it like that. I'm like, maybe we'll get something from that.
Okay, I
Or,
like that.
Foie gras, not pate, foie gras.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
who knows what we'll come up with?
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean, yeah, that tea thing really set a precedent.
What is the tea thing for those who don't know, Seth?
It's a ball of used loose tea about the size of a golf ball that you just throw it into your mouth and
I just had some.
choke down.
What I do is I brew organic Japanese green tea every day in the spent leaves, which is what they do in Japan. You eat the leaves, like a salad. And Seth, I showed him one day when he was at my house. I didn't think anything of it, and I ate it in front of him, and he was just besides himself with that. I just did that. It was like I ate a live animal or something, and that was very fun. Yeah.
I like that they used the word used instead of spent.
Yes, used, right. My neighbor has it in the morning and drops off the tea for me. Right. It was like, I had water on it. That's all. Water. And I extracted it. And then I drank it. I think of myself more like the P.T. Barnum of this show. I'm not necessarily in the acts. I'm just like keeping the things going. So that makes sense. I need a top hat, Shay.
Right, exactly. Oh.
Seth, you're in your car right now. I hear you're at did you say you're at an executive airport? Are you flying somewhere?
I am. I'm at the Chicago Executive Airport.
People are going to start heading over there to see you.
Doing some things over here, but that's it. What's that?
I said, by the time we're done, you will be gone from there, so they won't be able to see you at the airport. But while we talk about this, so Seth, what was it? You hadn't really interviewed people on air. Joe was the first. Were you nervous? You enjoyed it? Tell us a little more about it.
Yeah. I didn't really know. As I was looking to you for it because you've done this, and yeah, I didn't know you take an angle or kind of let the person talk more. There was a lot there.
Did you overthink it, Seth? You never overthink things.
No, it was so weird. I went into it.
And Joe, what was your thought? I'm sorry, go on. Were you going on, Seth?
Oh, no, that's fine. Please cut me off.
I just want to know, Joe, what was your thought? Because you never met us before. You knew nothing when you went on air. You took a leap of faith, as they say. What was your first thought when you met the two Christmas cousins? Yeah, right. Shay, yeah.
Well, I actually had never been asked to talk about my channel before or be interviewed on a podcast. I was on Jerry's podcast, I think a few months before that, talking about a Christmas episode. But, we talk about that episode. You don't really talk about, you advertise what you're doing and all that kind of stuff, but he didn't really ask about who I was and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, someone wants to talk to me. And I actually have the first message here. So if you want me to read it.
Oh, please do. And can you read it with an accent, either an Old English or New Jersey, one of the two?
I am not good at accents, so we'll just use the Pittsburgh accent that I currently have. So it says, "Hi, Christmas aficionado. Thanks for the follow. I must have followed you on Instagram. I am a fan of your reviews. I hear them on Christmas morning podcast.
I do.
We are a new Christmas podcast. Our 5th total episode drops tomorrow. Wow. And would love to have you in as a guest if you'd be interested to discuss pop culture and Christmas and plug your YouTube channel. So far, we've had a pretty good number of listeners being so new, which is encouraging. It'll be a lot of fun. Please let me know if you're interested, and we'll figure out a good time and details." So,
nice,
man.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, very professional email.
Thank you. See, all this behind the scenes, Seth, you really have no idea what goes on.
Right. P.S. My co-host may not be in it for the long haul, so if you're interested,
you might be the co-host soon.
Right.
And then I replied, I said, "Hi, Chad. Sure, I would enjoy chatting about your Christmas with you guys. I'm going to have to check out your podcast." So I didn't even listen to it at that point.
That's funny.
So there we go. Yeah. So that was about a year ago.
Amazing. And Seth, the rest, as they say, is Christmas history.
It is.
Woo! We're watching it go. Okay. All right. So, and there we are. Joe, do you have any idea how many times you have actually been on the show? Not including Instagrams.
I tried to keep track of it, but it's probably in the 20-some range at this point. I would think.
Yeah, it might be more. Could
maybe.
be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you could go back and look at every episode and count, but I'm not going to do that. So
Right. And Seth isn't going to do that. So that
No,
leaves it
no.
up to me.
that leaves it up to you. So if you want to figure that out, I think, Seth and I would be greatly interested in finding out that exact number.
Right.
I
I
am
can design the
interested,
50
actually.
timers T-shirt or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's
Let's
great.
create a club. Like the
SNL club.
the SNL club. Yeah. I like that. So, okay. So Seth, after that, another one, there was one, Joe was on one of the best episodes we've ever done. And we could talk about that now, or I guess because we're talking about Joe. So this episode, we started to talk about, Joe was on, he's a big Peanuts fan. And we started to talk about the Charlie Brown Christmas special, right, Joe? Is that what it's called? Charlie Brown
Christmas. Yeah.
Charlie Brown Christmas. So it started off fine, right? We think we're going to just have one topic. Next thing, I mentioned that Seth has a Snoopy tattoo on his shoulder, or what we thought was a Snoopy tattoo. Seth shows you the tattoo, Joe. Now you're a Peanuts aficionado as well. You take one look at his tattoo and you notice something's a bit awry. What did you see there, Joe?
Well, we didn't see the tattoo first. He described it, and he described it that, Snoopy was wearing a hat and he had these whiskers, and I'm like, that sounds weird. That's, you would have Snoopy wearing clothing, because Snoopy doesn't wear clothes. He's got his collar on, and that's about it. And so I started thinking about it, and I said, that sounds an awful more like his brother Spike than it is Snoopy. And so that's when Seth decided to do some Google search real quick, and he's like, I'll be right back. And then he ran out of the room, and he came back.
My tattoo is gone.
And he had an epiphany that his Snoopy tattoo that he got, you were 15, 14?
14, yeah.
14 in Galveston, Texas.
Was not actually a Snoopy tattoo, but was actually his brother Spike. And I was just like, at that point, our discussion of it, I don't think we really had any kind of good discussion about a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Our minds were blown.
We couldn't get back into it, and we just had to all we had to do was think about was how Seth had a tattoo that he had no idea what it was on his body, and has now just discovered this 30-some years later.
For decades he had this on. Decades. Oh, Seth, here was footage of you, actually. I do have one quick clip. There you go. So that was such a fun episode. If you're listening, if you haven't heard it, go back and listen or watch it on YouTube. I was actually away on a mountain trip, and I was like to my wife, I'm like, you just have to check this out. It's like a 45-minute episode, and go, just watch these few minutes where Seth notices this tattoo. We ended up watching the entire episode. We were so transfixed with what happened that we solved this decades-long puzzle, and that you get a tattoo at 14 in Galveston. Has the tattoo artist been let out of prison yet, Seth?
I don't know. A lot's changed, probably. At least gone through a lot of different phases.
Yes. But Seth, why was that one of your favorite episodes?
It was I don't know, having that realization after close to 33 years. I don't think many people get that, and it's like, hey, say, slap yourself in the forehead. Be like, wow. I say not a lot of people get that, or the opportunity to make it right. I can.
Joe, have you noticed this podcast started off as Seth's Christmas journey, but it's somewhat gone a bit askew, and it's been kind of his personal journey, his own self-realization journey, right? It's about finding Seth almost.
But that's the point of the show. You're teaching him all about Christmas, so this is his journey through Christmas, where he has discovered, he does talk about himself a lot, he does. We learned about this tattoo, but we were also talking about my Christmas tattoo at the same time, and so we were just like, it just randomly came up. And also Seth, in reality, Chad wanted you to show your tattoo on screen, because again, he wants you to do something on screen so that for his amusement. So he wanted you to rip off your shirt so you could see this tattoo. And you remember how many times he kept telling you, "What? Can we go to get a picture? Could we see it? Where are we going to see this tattoo? So again, I think your podcast for both of you guys is wow. This is Seth's journey, and Seth, we're learning about how Seth is embracing the Christmas spirit. Now he's a what is it? The sophomore,
seasonal sophomore.
Chad is also in it for the laughs, and so I think it works well.
Yes, and it's always good fun, Seth. Wouldn't you say, declare for the audience right now, because we joke on air, we mess with each other. Wouldn't you say I am one of your biggest supporters? Can I make that statement?
Oh yeah, hands down, absolutely. Nobody else was taking this on with me.
That's right. We do have other cousins. That's true.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With this, and even outside of this, so
good. I just don't want people to think, I just mess with it, because that's not it. I give him almost daily affirmations, Joe. You don't see all the texts.
Oh, I get a lot of regular support.
Seth, you're good enough. You're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you.
Exactly.
And it starts early too. I'm getting early morning texts, so yeah, it's throughout the day.
The height of the season last year, when we were doing 5 to 7 episodes a week, I was regularly texting Seth at 3 or 4 a.m. Eastern, and he's on Central Time. So that was great. I'd be on my bike with ideas, and Seth, we're gonna do this. I'll be off the bike soon. We'll record 5 hours.
It was fun. Yeah, aside from the exhaustion, it was a lot of fun. I have a feeling we'll be doing it again.
Well, maybe a couple weeks. We'll see what goes on. But yeah, we're in a good pace now.
You're coming into the Christmas season. This is your big time of the year where people are going to be searching out for Christmas, podcasts, and you want to make sure that you have plenty of episodes for them to listen to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe, do you know of any other podcast though that has so quickly gotten to its 150 episode mark?
No.
I usable content.
You guys, the fact I joked is you guys have you're in your fourth season, third season?
Yes. Fourth.
Yeah. Fourth
season starts November 1st.
I mean, you guys are just killing it with the number of episodes. So
that's right.
I mean, who could forget that one episode where you played all of your episodes mixed together, and I'm curious as to how many people actually listened to that one. But I mean, that is one of 150. So it's all great content.
That is true. That was your 50th or our 100th episode. What we did, we called it the catch-up episode, and I took every single episode and overdubbed them on top of each other and played them at once. And it was very avant-garde. I don't think anybody's done that either, Seth, we just played it. And it was, I wonder if I had, that would be a great clip to play. I would have played that one, because that was fun, the catch-up episode.
Yeah, that was great. And there's an underlying, theme under playing, so you have to really listen closely.
Yeah, I do not have that, unfortunately. Yeah, so if you get a chance, listen to that. You'll feel like you're going mad. It's only 2 minutes long, but it's every episode at once, sped up and condensed in 2 minutes or something. It's like a Yoko Ono album. It's awesome. It's high art. So our next one, Seth, you have 3 others. Do you know which one they are, or do you want to go on?
I know one was my 101st birthday episode that you guys so you worked very hard on.
Yes.
Some celebrity guest appearances, and it was a party.
Joe was on that episode. So we did Seth's 101st birthday episode. Obviously, he's not really 101. He's barely 80. And we had a big celebration. We had surprises on. Joe tricked him and came on as Tyler Hines imposter, I guess. Right, Joe?
I don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't that guy exist?
Nice.
Yeah.
And we did have people give shout outs and everything live on air, which was really fun. And so they all, and a lot of them were doing it just for their love of you, Seth, not to get on your bankroll, because Joe is one other thing we revealed live on air in an early episode. Seth was trying to be humble. He started talking about I've got this stove, I've got this microwave, and little by little we unveiled live on air that he is in fact one of the world's wealthiest individuals. That's true, Seth.
I mean, he's got a car.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, we had an episode where we had his staff on and we interviewed them, his household staff. So check that out as well. That was fascinating. We kicked Seth out of the room and brought the staff in, his chef, your driver and your bodyguard, or your two Jeeves 1 and Jeeves 2, your head butlers.
Yep. Yeah, some of my staff, and yeah, absolutely, my 2 head butlers.
We've done a lot, Seth. And I come back, I forget about some of these good ones.
Oh, I know. There's so many. There's a lot of stuff. You have to go through our archives.
Yeah, well, so let's touch on your next one, Seth, because I do want to touch on one of my favorites as well. So what did you have next, Seth? Do you recall now? Joe, I asked Seth, did you bring your list of your top 6? And Seth?
This is going to be a late entry because after I sent you the list and I was thinking about it, I was like, if I don't mention this, it's going to be a glaring omission and I'm going to have my hindsight handed to me.
I know what this is.
One of my favorite, and it's an ongoing thing, which is great, is my relationship, my romantic relationship.
When we revealed that you were dating Mrs. X live on air. Okay.
Absolutely.
That was exciting. We spoke to some people just yesterday who were saying how much they loved in the off season hearing your journey.
Yeah. That was great to hear. Made me feel good.
That was very cool. So Seth, so that was one of your favorites as well. Now, Joe, I said though to Seth, did you bring your list, your top 5 or 6? And he said, no, I forgot, but I think you have it, right? So I had to find it and pull it up, which happens on this show often. So Seth, so of course Mrs. X, and that's ongoing. What is your next one, Seth?
I really enjoyed Alonzo Duraldi's kind of movie Christmas prep kit. I don't know if we officially called it, but it was like a Christmas primer. So he made some recommendations of great classic Christmas movies. And I watched them, and then he followed up to see what I thought and kind of give a little synopsis on each of them. And yeah, that was great. Because the Hallmark movies and everything were great. I love watching them, but I think it was definitely essential that I watch these. And I loved them all. The 1958 or 48 version of, what is it? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
It's a wonderful.
Thank you.
Life.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they're all great.
So let me just explain, Seth. So we had Alonzo Duralde on, who's an author and a noted film critic. We had him on. He was nice enough to come on, and he assigned Seth the top 5 classic movies that a festive freshman must watch. And Seth said, okay, I will watch them all, and we'll do a follow-up. He did watch them all. We did do a follow-up, and he got to really experience these movies that he's never seen. Like Joe, he had never seen It's a Wonderful Life. He had never seen any of them, actually.
The store next door.
The shop next door.
And Alonzo gave you some of the best older Christmas movies, which I fully expected him to give you, a really good list.
Yeah.
My favorite is It's a Wonderful Life. I think that is probably the top Christmas film for me of all time. It's one of those movies that I didn't see when I was young. I don't think I saw it until I was probably almost into college.
Wow.
But it's a movie I watch every year. I really would love to see it in that theater you went and saw it at. I think that would have been cool. I've never seen it on the big screen. So that would actually be something that, I need to find somehow. I need to go watch it somewhere, and it's probably going to play in theaters around here. I just have to go and seek that out.
Yeah, but Seth did the immersive one, like when he went like a Rocky Horror Picture Show style for It's a Wonderful Life, and that sounded amazing.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
Are you going this year?
I don't. If they do it again, I absolutely would. It was their 40th anniversary at the Music Box Theater, doing that, and it was so much fun. They had carolers there. Boozy Hot Chocolate, which I keep going back to.
Your first ever Boozy Hot Chocolate.
Yes, sing-alongs. I was singing the songs. Thankfully, they had the lyrics up on the screen. And I saw Santa again. I can't confirm or deny that it was the real one, but he was there.
Right.
There was.
I love because before you love that Boozy Hot Chocolate. You do bring it up a lot because before then you only had Boozy Booze. So you're like, I can combine the two.
Like booze and alcohol, that worked. Right. Booze and spirits, but
I want to try the cocoa. I mean, that sounds awesome. Why not?
I smell an upcoming episode. All right.
Swiss Miss Sweet meets the Walker Brothers.
That's right. The Floyds. Okay, so the Floyd Bros. Okay, so Seth, you had that one. What is next on your list? Do you recall? Because I have it down.
No, I'm blanking.
You had we had Totally Rad episode with Jerry.
Yes.
Crossover episode with Jerry from the Totally Rad Christmas podcast. Great podcast. Check it out. It's mostly 80s, some early 90s stuff. And that's with Jerry. He's a great host, great guy. And we did a review with him of the 1984's Christmas special of Nickelodeon's You Can't Do That on Television. That was a lot of fun. What made that stick out, Seth, for you?
Watching the show all these years later. And I mean, regardless of the episode, it was just seeing how things change and what would not play too well nowadays. They got away with a lot of stuff, and for a kid show too, it was like, wow, this is great. So,
yeah, at the end of that show, remember they had a firing squad and shot the kid? It's a joke.
Right. Not many are ending like that.
Joe, that one also Seth debuted his amazing impressionist skills, because he does a lot of impressions on the show, whether you realize it or not. He did the drunk father. Seth, do you want to bust it out? I don't know if you need to hear it first or give us a Merry Christmas as the drunk father.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. What did he say? He's like, I'm an engineer, not a senator. Or is he a senator, not an engineer? I can't remember which one he was.
He was a senator.
It actually sounds more like Jeff the Drunk than it does anything else.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Cello. So that one stuck out because that was fun. And that was, that was cool because we were interacting. It was kind of on his show as well. Actually, he invited us to be on his show. And I said, you know what, let's do a crossover episode. So we have one more we have as well. So that worked out quite well too. And that was a lot of fun. So Seth, we went through your list of your top 6 before we log off, because it's just, we're already 37 minutes. That was supposed to
be a short one.
Yeah, this is getting short. So Joe, did you have a top episode? I also want to know, so you started listening, you said, I'll give these guys a chance. Their audio was bad at first. They got better. What made you become interested in a listener of the show? Because you actually do listen, not just when you're on.
The banter between you guys, that was great. I mean, it was a lot more fun. You guys were doing things that were not just, let's just review this movie or this TV episode, which is, I'm not going to put that down on the podcast because that's what a lot of people put out and they want people to hear. I mean, you guys were doing taste testings and drinking and doing all sorts of stuff that, not all the Christmas podcasters do. And I kind of like that. And I was like, well, that'll be fun. And then, the more you guys had me, the more you guys had me on, the more fun it got, and the more it was like, okay, great. Well, let's do this episode, or let's talk about this, or let's talk about Home Alone 2. We're still waiting for that one, but
let's talk about it.
But again, we did a couple crossovers. I think the biggest thing for me is the Brady Bunch. I mean, us doing the Brady Bunch. Where we talked about the Brady Bunch TV episode, which was fine, but doing the very Brady Christmas where we ranked the biggest problems and how annoyed Chad was with Seth because he was like, are you sure that you really want to say that Cindy Brady has the biggest problem? And Seth's like, yeah, that sounds great. That's exactly what the problem is. She can't go skiing.
Her problem. Yeah, I'm sorry, you were going to say it. Her problems that they were dealing with divorce, sickness, marital affairs, and Cindy couldn't go skiing.
Yes, that was the biggest problem. And
it's deeper than that, but
well. Not really.
Was it though? No, not really.
It wasn't.
The snow was deep. That was the only thing that was deep.
Right.
Because I when we were talking about it, I just remember Chad kept going, let's rethink this now. Come on, now, do we really? What? Maybe we should reconsider this being number one. And I was like, no, this is great. The fact that he wants this to be number one, I love this. To me that was great. But we ultimately, I think she ended up moving down, and I think I don't recall. Was it Al? Yeah, Alice had the biggest problem with Sam cheating on her. But that was a great episode. It's a great crossover. It was one of the hardest videos I ever had to edit, because it was all three of us trying to put that together with the footage of the show, and trying to avoid copyright and all that other stuff that I have to deal with for every episode. But it was fun, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
That was fun. And Joe, that was a great example too of when you have on the Christmas cousins, and one cousin named Seth in particular, you never know what's going to happen. The reasoning, it's very rarely linear, and you just go where it goes. And only a billionaire would see the biggest problem was their ski trip canceled. No other real issues going on. Seth's lived a very charmed life. And to him, the biggest thing would be missing on ski season. And he was a competitive snowboarder for quite a while too.
Try putting yourself in my ski boots or snowboard boots.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be a big problem for someone like him. So yeah.
As Seth says, walk a mile in my Bruno Mali's. Although you would never walk the full mile, Seth. You would walk a little bit, be carried on a chariot, things like that. So, I love this. This is a great Sethrospective. Joe, thank you for joining us last minute to surprise cousin Seth.
Thank you.
You're always such a team player, and have made this a really great experience and so much fun. I love doing this. Meeting the people, knowing we're going to laugh. It's so healthy too, just going on and laughing and giggling for like 40 minutes. It's really cool, fun. And the fact that it's resonating with people really all over the world. We've had over 50 countries where people listen to all 50 states. And then getting all the feedback and email is so great. So keep it up, everybody. Check out Joe on Christmas Aficionado on YouTube. He's got fantastic shows. We'll be doing a show with him soon covering Home Alone 2 when Seth lets us know when we're doing that. And also, please write us at Christmas Cousins Pod on Facebook and Instagram. That's at Christmas Cousins Pod, or at Christmas Cousins Pod at gmail.com is our email, at Christmas Cousins Pod at gmail.com, because we want to hear, what's your favorite episode? What are your favorite Seth highlights? What would you like to see us do in the future? And even why have you been listening? Anything. We love it. We love the feedback. Thank you all. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you all on the 300th.
That'll be next week, right?